Welcome to the Morris Animal Refuge Purple Level Cat Handling Training. We hope this training will provide you with the tools you need to confidently work with our cats in need of specialized handling. Thank you for your time and dedication to the refuge's most urgent animals. To complete your certification to work with Purple Level cats, please watch this video, then follow the links in the video description to watch 2 supplemental videos and take the quiz. You need to get 100% to pass the quiz, and you can take it as many times as you need. To start off, we'll talk a little bit about which of our cats might get a purple designation. Some of these cats are extremely stressed. The shelter is full of new sights, smells, and sounds, and while some cats adjust well, others shut down or become aggressive. Even the best shelter environment can stress out sensitive cats, so it's important that we do everything we can to make them comfortable. Purple level cats might be those who give defensive warnings, like hissing or growling when approached. They might also be those who escalate to swatting or attempting to bite when handled. Although they have the potential to escalate, purple cats must demonstrate predictable behavior and can't have a history of swatting or biting without warning. The other category of purple cats are those who are sick and need to be quarantined due to contagious illnesses. These cats are generally friendly, but there are special protocols for interacting with them so that we don't spread pathogens to the rest of our cats. Later on, we'll talk about how to provide enrichment for these cats while keeping the rest of the population safe. The safety of our volunteers is our top priority. While the risk of getting hurt when working with animals is never zero, these rules will reduce the chance that you get bit or scratched. On the off chance that you do get hurt, whether or not an animal is involved, you must pause what you're doing and notify a staff member right away. This will ensure that you get first aid care ASAP, and if an animal is involved, we can collect more information on their behavior to keep everyone safe in the future. You should also always keep your phone close when working with purple level animals. If you need immediate assistance, you can call the main shelter line or volunteer coordinator for help. Of course, the goal is to keep injuries from happening in the first place, so always follow these guidelines when working with our cats. The first rule is to always take it slow. Err on the side of caution and never reach for a cat who isn't readily approaching you or asking for pets. Similarly, the second rule is to always ask for consent. When working with animals who can't ask for space using their words, we recommend petting the animal for a few seconds and then stopping to see if they ask for more. Rule 3 is to never ever attempt to pick up or handle a purple level cat. If a cat escapes their kennel, get a staff member right away. In this case, calling someone may be the best option so you can keep an eye on the animal while you wait for someone to come help. Finally, always follow quarantine protocols when working with sick cats. If you're unsure of a protocol, ask. We're happy to help. Also, work with sick cats last and don't touch any healthy cats afterwards. We'll start by talking about shy and fractious purple level cats. You'll often hear these cats referred to at the shelter as TTA cats, which stands for time to adjust. Purple level cats who need TTA will usually be housed in our cat holding space, which is across the hall from the life-saving office. The most important thing you can learn is how to identify the different stress responses you might see TTA cats display. The easiest way to remember the main stress responses is by thinking of the 4 F's: fight, flight, fidget, and freeze. Cats can show signs of one or multiple responses at once, but this is a good way to think about the range of behaviors we might see from an animal who's stressed. It's also important to remember that any animal can escalate to fight mode if we don't respect their space. This is why it's crucial that we understand the other 3 responses really well and always approach animals on their own terms. While cats will try to do everything they can to avoid a fight, it's pretty easy to recognize a cat who's getting ready to defend themselves. They'll do everything they can to make themselves appear big and threatening to make the scary thing go away by hissing, spitting, or growling, flaring their whiskers, puffing and swinging their tail, and arching their back. If the threat persists, they might raise a paw and attempt to swat or even attempt to bite. Cats who are getting ready to fight often flatten their ears as well. We call this airplane ears, and cats do this to keep their ears from being torn if they do find themselves in a fight. Cats getting ready to flee will often be hiding already or might move away to hide when you approach. They'll usually be avoiding eye contact, or they might be frantically looking for an exit. Their face and body will be tense with wide eyes and dilated pupils. They'll usually be crouched with their tail wrapped tightly around their body, and they may be facing away from you. Just like people might bite their nails or bounce their leg to release nervous energy, some cats will fidget when they're stressed out. Lip licking and excessive blinking or squinting are easy to spot and are signs that the cat is asking for space. Other fidget behaviors include sudden or excessive grooming, pacing, and pawing at the kennel door. Some cats will purr when stressed, and it's important to observe the rest of the cat's body language to determine if the purring is due to increased stress levels. Panting might also be a stress response, and if observed, stop interacting with the cat and notify a staff member immediately. It can be a sign of respiratory distress, which is a medical emergency. Cats exhibiting a freeze response will appear extremely stiff and tense, and they may even be trembling. They'll be trying to appear as small as possible and will often wrap their tails tightly around their bodies. They might appear shut down, unresponsive, or catatonic. Some cats will keep their eyes wide and their pupils will be dilated. Others will feign sleep, like the orange cat in the bottom left. Cats who are feigning sleep will appear to be relaxed and asleep, but if you look more closely, you'll notice their body doesn't look relaxed at all and that these cats are really on high alert. Their eyes might be slightly open and their feet might be in position to flee if necessary. Remember, any cat can escalate to a fight response if we don't respect their space. A stressed out cat could feel the need to defend themselves at any time, and next we'll talk about how to avoid pushing them to that point. Always go slow with TTA cats, and if you're at all uncomfortable about working with a particular cat, skip them for that day or ask for help. Before working with TTA cats, you'll want to secure the space and gather your supplies. When working with any cats in cat holding, always close the door before opening any kennels. If a cat decides to bolt, they won't be able to escape from the room. You'll also want to bring treats and popsicle sticks. Popsicle sticks can be used to offer the cat treats while keeping your hands out of swatting distance. Some shy cats open up when we offer them play, so it's a good idea to have a laser pointer or wand toys handy. These toys are best since they don't require you to reach for the cat when playing. Now you're ready to learn our strategies for working with TTA cats in a way that helps build confidence and trust. To begin, you may open the kennel door slowly and quietly and offer the cat a treat. You can also offer a treat through the kennel bars without opening the door if you're more comfortable with this. Sometimes you'll want to try a few different treats to see what the cat prefers. You can gently toss a dry treat like a greenie or temptation towards them. Alternatively, offer a chew snack or baby food on a popsicle stick or place a small amount onto the kennel floor. Some cats aren't very food motivated but might respond well to catnip. When beginning any interaction with the cat, make sure to offset your body, avoid direct eye contact, and stay vigilant for subtle signs of stress. This will help the cat feel more at ease with you. If the cat accepts your offering by eating the treat, you can move on to the next step. But if they don't, you should end the interaction here, close the door, and move on. Just like in humans, when cats enter fight or flight mode, their digestive system shuts down and they won't eat. A cat who isn't accepting treats is too stressed to continue interacting with. If the cat takes the bait and accepts the treat, you can move on. The next step is to let them smell you by offering a finger or popsicle stick to the cat. From here, the cat might sniff you and decide they don't want pets. If this is the case, they won't rub up on you, and that's okay. Continue to offer treats or play, whatever the cat seems to enjoy most, for a few minutes to end the session on a positive note. If they sniff you and do rub up on your hand, they're requesting pets. You can move on to step 3. Remember to only do so if the cat rubs up on you and isn't exhibiting signs of stress. Many cats, but especially ones who are already stressed out, can be very particular about where they're pet. Even if your cat at home loves belly rubs, you should always play it safe when working with cats of unknown temperaments. Only pet TTA cats around their forehead, cheek, and chin. When in doubt, you can keep your hands still and let the cat pet you. Most cats have no problem taking the wheel and will continue to rub up on you if they want to be pet. It's also important to offer cats choice and control by performing consent tests frequently while working with TTA cats. Do this by petting the cat for 3 to 5 seconds, slowly moving your hand away and seeing if the cat reapproaches for more pets. Keep repeating these steps, and if the cat walks away or doesn't reapproach, end the interaction here. We always want to make sure we're operating on their terms and respecting any request for space. It's just as important to know when to end an interaction as it is to know how to approach a TTA cat. We always want to end our sessions on a positive note, so limit time with each cat to around 3 to 5 minutes. After this, we risk adding to the cat's stress. When cats get overwhelmed or overstimulated, it can sometimes look like a sudden change in behavior. They may be asking for pets one minute and suddenly start to hiss or swat. More often than not, the cat has been throwing out more subtle signs of discomfort. As you work, watch for all signs of the 4 F's. Often the easiest ones to spot are tail flicking, lip licking, turning their back to you or walking away, and vocalizing. Remember, cats are complex, emotional creatures, and they can be conflicted about their wants, just like people. Make sure to watch the entire animal and take signs of discomfort seriously, even if the cat keeps returning for pets. Next, we'll talk about working with sick cats in quarantine. You'll often hear quarantine referred to as ISO, which is short for isolation. These cats are being kept separate from the rest of the population due to contagious diseases, so following all of the protocols properly is crucial to keeping everyone healthy. Our ISO space is located on the third floor of the shelter on the same side as the life-saving office and should only be entered by purple level volunteers. Sometimes cat holding will double as an isolation space, so always pay attention to kennel signage when working in these spaces. This is especially important when sick cats must share space with healthy ones. Most cats in ISO are friendly and social, but sometimes TTA cats can get sick too, so always approach cats carefully for the first time. Don't forget that ISO cats must always be the last animals you work with. Before going upstairs, drop off your name tag on the shelter side and pick up your personal belongings from the life-saving office. Jackets and bags can be left right outside of ISO while you're working there. When you're done, there will be a QR code available to scan so that you can sign out of logistics. Grab your stuff and head out through the life-saving office side rather than exiting through the main shelter. Cats can end up in quarantine for lots of reasons, but the contagious illnesses we see most commonly are upper respiratory infections and ringworm. Upper respiratory infections, also called URIs or kitty colds, are common in the shelter setting. The symptoms are similar to how colds look in people: green and yellow nasal discharge, congestion, sneezing, loss of appetite, lethargy, and fever. Colds are usually species specific, meaning you can't catch one from a cat. But they're very contagious among cats and can be spread through droplets in the air or on objects, which is why isolating sick cats is important to keeping everyone healthy. Ringworm is the other disease you'll probably see in ISO. Ringworm isn't actually a worm, it's a fungus similar to athlete's foot. It shows up in cats as crusty or scaly patches of missing fur. Ringworm is contagious to other species, including humans and dogs. It's spread through direct contact with the spores, so it's extra important to follow protocols when working with these cats. In humans, it's easily treated with the same antifungal cream used for athlete's foot, but if you don't want to risk it, you can always skip working with these cats. Personal protective equipment, also called PPE, is anything worn to minimize contact with hazardous substances, including diseases and pathogens. In this case, PPE protects not only you, but other volunteers, staff, and animals at the shelter. PPE must be put on before entering ISO and changed between each animal or litter you interact with. If animals are kenneled together, the same set of PPE can be used when interacting with them. So if there are 3 unrelated cats in ISO being treated for colds, you'll end up putting on 3 different sets of PPE, one for each cat you interact with. At the shelter, PPE usually includes some combination of gloves, gowns, foot covers, and masks. Not all PPE needs to be worn around all animals. The door of each ISO room will have a sign that notes what contagious disease the animals are sick with and what PPE you need to wear when working with them. Always check these signs, even for diseases you've worked with before. Occasionally, these protocols may change. Thank you for watching and for your commitment to our animals. To finish your certification, follow the links in the description of this video to watch 2 short supplemental videos and take the quiz. Once you get 100%, you'll be all set to work with purple level cats. If you have any questions, shoot us an email at volunteering@morrisanimalrefuge.org. We're always happy to help.